As Meghan Markle fumes over in the sort of, how shall we call it, lifestyle world, right? It seems that over here across the pond, the Princess of Wales, Catherine, is about to thrive. And that's not going to go down too well. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Lovely crisp day. I hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. Or if, of course, you're having a bit of a tough time, I hope it gets better. Yes, you know, the sort of thing. We all start off with days like this, don't we? I don't know if you've done this. I managed to boil a few eggs, right? Yeah, hard-boiled eggs. And then, you know, when you drop them, which is fine, because obviously they don't break, but then shell goes everywhere. Then you've got to get the hoover out. And then as you're hoovering, you realise the bag's full. You know this sort of thing, don't you? Yes. It starts off quite nice, and a simple job suddenly escalates into something where you think, how did I end up doing this? Have you had a day like that? It's a nightmare, isn't it? Now, someone who's not having something of a nightmare right now is, of course, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, slowly easing herself back into royal duties, and rightly so. I think, as I've often said, that work is the key, and normality does help you sort of feel a little bit better about yourself, doesn't it? If you can get out and about, even if for just a small period during the day, it simply helps. Now, the good news, of course, for Catherine is simply this, because now she has this wonderful opportunity, all thanks to her new position. I know it's a couple of years down the line now as a Princess of Wales, but obviously last year was something of a huge setback. She's able to issue royal warrants. Now, as you know, recently His Majesty the King, he did kind of create something of a stir, didn't he, by withdrawing the royal warrant to Cadbury's, the chocolate maker, after what? Many, many years supplying chocolate to our late brilliant monarch Queen Elizabeth. Maybe it wasn't to the King's palate, who knows? But according to sources, Catherine is definitely going to be going down a different route. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because, of course, royal warrants, particularly from somebody like her, if there are fashion-based clothing ranges, anything really, it doesn't have to be food, it can be anything, really will help the brand. And this is where, and this is kind of sad in a sense, but of course this is where they will be pitched opposite each other. I'm talking, of course, about Meghan Markle and Catherine. Two totally different kettles of fish and two totally different things. However, an influencer naturally has the ability to be able to sell things. If you have X amount on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, if you post to post, that thing, if you're a celebrity, can normally shoot through the roof. Catherine, of course, won't be doing any such thing. Her royal warrants will be thought out and no doubt very well versed. But the media will be looking to see exactly whether a certain brand or a chain that she decides to back or offer the royal warrant to does incredibly well. Now, the sort of information shows that they do. Queen Camilla's association with her latest royal warrants have done loads for the business simply because it gets picked up in the media. People start to look at the website, the traffic. And what's good about that is, in particular with Queen Camilla, when there's I don't mean this rudely, but a lady of a certain age and she maybe recommends a particular fashion or a look or a coat or a brand or something like that, it can help open it up to a different sector. Of course, as we know, Meghan Markle is really struggling right now because clearly she's trying to get her own lifestyle brand off. And that was one thing, and when you think about this, she and Harry in time would have been offered a very similar thing. They would have been offered the opportunity to extend briefly at points what they were going to offer royal warrants to. So it must make you wonder, if you are Harry and Meghan, looking at Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and seeing exactly what she truly walked away from, and now she's back to square one, trying to hawk stuff on Instagram. Either way, I do wish Catherine all the very best in picking out those royal warrants. But what I would say, Mum, is be careful regarding the chocolate. Look at the backlash that happened to His Majesty the King. Just be careful. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.